with this game. We're going to start with the positive, okay? Because there's going to be a lot of rage left over for the Celtics when it's all said and done. But let's give it up for the Knicks, who have just been incredible and had themselves a Groundhog Day of a game in game 2. The exact same thing happening, down 20, come back, huge victory in Boston. Now they get to go back to Madison Square Garden up 2-0 on the Celtics. It's insane to me. It wasn't even a Jalen Brunson crazy game on top of all of that. Chandler, I don't have words anymore. I still feel a little shocked. This feels way more shocking than the first one. What did you make of this?
Yeah, I think shocked is the right word, and I think that's how all of Boston is feeling. I think that's how that team is feeling, especially after how game 1 went down, giving up the lead, settling for a bunch of threes, going 15 of 60, now going 10 of 40. They're 25 of 100 in these 2 playoff
That's
games.
awesome.
The Knicks in this series. That is unheard of. And again, it's easy to knock it when it doesn't work. It worked a lot of times this year. But when you watch this team, they settle. And even when you go ice cold like this, which they're proving is possible, man, anything can happen. And you can shoot yourself right out of a big lead, which they have done now twice. And the Knicks are resilient. We always talk about playoff basketball is different. The Knicks are tougher. They play harder. They play with more effort. They bring the punch to them. And they've done that now, even when they're down 20. Nothing's changed with the Knicks. They play the same way. They act the same way, whether they're up 20, down 20, up 6. It doesn't really matter. And that is huge when it comes to a slower, more physical style playoff game. But, man, I'm still shocked. I'm shocked they lost the first one. I'm shocked they lost the second one. The fact that it's 2-0 is absolutely nuts. Again, like the other series, I don't think they're over. The Boston Celtics are a great team. They're the best road team this season, 33-8, I think, on the road. So they're not done, but nobody saw this coming. This is absurd.
Feels pretty done, Lou. Feels pretty done. I mean,
it's a lot of basketball.
It's hard to look at
that
that, but it's hard to look at their body language and their arrogance and not changing and think, yeah, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, they gotta adjust. Like you gotta make some adjustments. I know that you're the defending champs and you have a certain brand of basketball that you play, but the New York Knicks are clearly they're ready to match you at everything that you do well. They make adjustments on the fly. We just seen it when the game was on the line. Jason Tatum gets a running head start to get a dunk for the game. They try to run the same exact play 20 seconds later, and it don't work. Like, they're adjusting on the fly. They tried to get a switch with Mitchell Robinson. OG fought like hell for them not to get the switch. Even when they got the switch on Mitchell Robinson, OG came back to help. They didn't allow him to play on the island for the game. That's in a team adjusting on the fly. The Boston Celtics, they got to adjust. I know we keep saying that they're going to live and die by the three-pointer. They're dying by it. At some point, somebody got to say, you know what? I don't want to die this way. I got to change. I got to change the trajectory of how we're playing and how we're going about this thing. And they just refuse to. Like, you used the word arrogant. I think they're just stubborn. They're just stubborn in their ways, and they won't adjust. And if they're not, the New York Knicks are going to be just fine, and they're going to win this series. Now, the moment that they stop, check out some film and make some adjustments to beat this basketball team, then that's when the series will start. Until then, it's going to go the New York Knicks way.
Yeah, the Celtics, Michelle, are playing like the team that's just been told they're the best team all season long.
Correct.
Like, that matters anything now. You know what I mean? Like they've just been kind of put on this pedestal all season long for rightfully so, and on some aspects of it. They're defending champs. They were great all year long. Without Cleveland having this historic start to the season, even with them having that, the Celtics are still the team to beat. But now they've been punched in the mouth. Then they just got punched in the mouth again. So the fact that history is repeating itself, they're blowing 20-point leads. They went from 8:40 left in the game to 18 seconds or something, 0 field goals. Like, that is hard to do when you have athletic playmaking wings like Jaylen Brown, like Jason Tatum, like Derek White, like Drew Holiday. These guys can all get downhill, get to the basket, and don't have to settle for threes. Let Pritchard shoot threes. Let Sam Hauser, let Porzingis even shoot threes. Those other 4 guys are too good and too physical to be settling. Get to the rim, and again, they're a great three-point shooting team, a historic three-point shooting team. It's not working right now in this series. You are ice cold. You have to adapt or adjust, or this is going to continue to get worse and worse.
I thought they did, though, Chandler. I thought they did. Like, Tatum and Brown, they did play with their backs to the baskets, but even when they did play with their backs to the basket, they still were fading away. They still were relying on jump shots. Like, you got to go through somebody's body. You got to impose will. Like Jalen Brunson did it. I'm going to stop this clock. I'm a foul bait a little bit, but I'm still going to get an easy 2 points just to slowly grind this team down, you know, and you make a great point. With so many 3-point shooters on that team, allow some other guys to do it. But as the stars, we're going to be the ones that impose force and impose will on this team. And then that'll open up the 3-point line. Like, we're just going and going and going from the 3-point line, hoping that a shot go in. I forget how long it was, but I know they went 14 straight trips down the court without a field goal. At some point, I remember nobody cares about the old NBA anymore. I get it. Nobody cares.
I do, Lou. Talk.
Okay, well, Beadle and I, we remember a time in the NBA, 2 or 3 trips down the court. If you don't get a bucket, there's a big guy or your best player. He's going to stop, put his hand up, and play with his back to the basket. He's either going to try to get a layup or he's going to try to get a foul to kind of stop the bleeding. Now, I know this was a grind-out game, but New York is playing a better, grittier, grind-out game. So if you're going to get into that style of play, that's going to go New York's way. So you got to take a page out of their book. Sometimes you got to beat a team at what they're good at. And right now, New York is doing that to Boston, and Boston is not returning the favor and trying to slow this game down and using some of their best assets in their favor.
Yeah. And Lou, to give them the benefit of the doubt a little bit, they did miss some wide open shots. And when you touch the paint, you swing, you get some good corner looks. They just didn't go down. Again, they're ice cold. Who knows the reason why? Maybe they'll get better shooting. But Tatum and Brown combining for 6 combined free throws, Lou.
There it is.
You can't do that. That is inexcusable. That is how you lose games. And as a player, you have to be more aware. Jumpers aren't falling. We're not used to this. It hasn't happened often this season. But when they're not falling, we still have other ways to win basketball games on the defensive end, being athletic, getting to the free throw line. 2 physical players like Tatum Brown can't go for 6 free throws in a game.
Agreed.
I feel like, and by the way, I lied. We're doing the Celtics first, then we'll get to the Knicks. But I feel like there was that moment, second to last play for Tatum, where he drives all the way to the basket, and the crowd went crazy because they're dying. They're in a desert, just thirsty for anything, and they finally get 1 second of, and then there was the broken play that ends everything, and it was just gross. So here's my question, because everybody has to evolve. You do have to figure something out. Yeah, this final possession looks like there's absolutely nothing planned, nothing thought out. If you are supposed to be one of the best players that you told us in this league, guys, please explain to me what the hell this final play is for Jason.
I gotta keep it real. This is coaching right here. So again, the possession before that, he got to run to the basket in a wide open dunk by using Mitchell Robinson's foot speed against him, right? But again, this team is adjusting. The Knicks just saw you get that layup the same way we just saw you get the layup. So now we're gonna adjust. Look, he got 3 guys around him now. They're not gonna let you play one-on-one. With 12 seconds to go, at least call your timeout and set up in a half-court, advance the basketball if you still want him to get a running start. That way you can implement, hey, listen, this is the first option. Hey, he's going downhill. If we don't get that, here's the second option. Here's the third option. We got 12 seconds. We got plenty enough time to get a really good look. Instead, they shot free throws, and he just allowed his best player to go down and make a play. I get it. Some coaches trust their guys. I get that. I'm with that 1,000%. Jason Tatum is a guy that you can put the ball in his hands and he can go make that play. But with 12 seconds to go ahead and use your timeout and advance the basketball if you're going to take it home with you anyways, and set up an emergency plan. Set up something to where if he gets in trouble, you can still use that timeout if you're not going to use it, or he knows to go to a second option. They didn't do any of that. He just put the ball in his hands, allowed them to play freely with the game on the line, and it didn't go their way.
Yeah. Once you see this broken play and then you see that you have a timeout, that's where it's frustrating, where this shouldn't have been this possession. With the game on the line, down 1 on your home court. Again, they guard it beautifully. They're physical. Mitchell Robinson, for a center staying in front, is an awesome job. The help side defense, unbelievable from Bridges. But again, that's partially because the spacing is wrong. They didn't get into their sets. They didn't get to their spots. And even if he makes this shot, which he looks like he was going to pass it anyways, but a one-legged fadeaway, like from the baseline, 17, 18 foot, it's just inexcusable for a team this good and this experienced.
He looks like he's in trouble to me here, and I get it. We're Monday morning quarterbacks. We got all the answers today. In real time, this is different. But right now, like at that free throw line, it looks to me he's already in trouble. Like right here.
Oh yeah, got 3 guys there.
Yeah, I still got 6 seconds here. Call your timeout. I still got 6 seconds right there. Call your timeout. I gave you an opportunity to be creative as the best player on our team. It didn't work out. Okay, give me time. Let me set something up where we can at least get a quality look, and they failed to do so.
So I find the Joe Mazzulla thing, it's going to be an interesting day for Joe Mazzulla. And I know he's not going to listen, but I can tell you I've been up very many hours already and the world's not happy with him. And so we kind of loved him as like the serial killer guy with the crazy quotes all year. But then after this one, he doesn't change anything. Oh, there's some good stuff to see on there. We'll watch the tape. It's the same sort of weird delivery. Doesn't hit the same, Chandler, when you've just lost your second game, almost carbon copied the way you lost the first one in the playoffs with your stars all but disappearing. So I got to ask, like, I know it's 2 games. It is the playoffs. They are the defending champs. But he looks so out of his depth right now. How do you explain whatever it is that Joe Mazzulla has done for 2 games?
Honestly, he's a different dude. He's so quirky. I don't know how to ever explain him. I think the worst thing he could do right now is to panic, and he's not going to do that. Again, like I mentioned earlier, the Celtics are an unbelievable road team. Did they ever think they would be down 2-0 in this series? A team that they absolutely dominated 4 times in the regular season? No chance. So again, I think it's on him to adjust. I think it's on them to get in the film room. I think it's on them to have whatever sort of team meeting, kumbaya, powwow, because things have to change. And they're not just going to go and change everything that's got them to this point. They are still regarded as one of the better teams in the NBA and one of the favorites to win the championship. Now you get down 2-0. How do you respond? What are you actually made of? This is the most, remember last year, the playoffs, they had a cakewalk to the finals. Everyone got hurt. Everyone got banged up. This is the most resilience that they'll ever have to go through that they've ever seen as a team. How will they respond? And what do they do in game 3 to make things differently? And can they go steal back home court? We'll see. But the Joe Mazzulla aspect, again, as a media, as a fan, you want a little more. You want to hear some positive feedback. You want to hear what we're going to do differently. You want to hear why we think we did it again wrong. What is our issue giving up these leads? And he didn't give us that. But again, that's not his job. His job is to get the Celtics ready for game 3 and to not panic. And I think we've learned by now, this is just he's a different dude and he says some crazy stuff, but the series by no means is over, but you got to give credit to the Knicks. They are playing harder. They are the tougher team. And everyone knows they're not as talented. That should tell you everything you need to know.
This is literally every
Coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, one more thing about Coach. Like, again, I get it. 2 straight games, you get 20-point leads. And so in that, as a coach, you feel like we found something that is getting us over the hump. We're having some success. Like, we're not out there playing the worst type of basketball. They're not efficient on the offensive end, but they've gained 2 20-point leads in back-to-back games. Those are positives. So I agree with him there. So I'm not saying change the way that you play and change your game plan, but now you got to tweak. Now you got to make some in-game adjustments where you tweak things in there, especially until you figure out what's going on Porzingis and the illness that he's dealing with, because he's the catalyst to everything that they're able to do when they break down in the half court, where you can give him the ball at the top of the key and he can be a creator as well off the dribble at that size. So some things you have to tweak. Like for 3 quarters, you guys are the better basketball team. Now in the 4th quarter, how do we change? How do we get this over the hump to get us a win? And that's what he has to look at in the film. So I get it when he says there's a lot of positives and there's a lot of things that they can see on the film that they can build on. But in the 4th quarter, you got to tweak some of the things that you're doing until you get a win.
It's like a 10-year marriage, and you're like, the first 7 years were great. Like, well, okay,
yeah.
But now what? Like, you got to figure this out. By the way, this is every Hollywood sports movie. It's Mighty Ducks, Mystery Alaska, Bad News Bears. It's the arrogant team